How awesome was that? And we're now going to be joined by the marvelous Julia Whatley from the marvelous Gorgias, who that video is all about. Hello, Julia. How are you doing today?
I'm doing super well. How are you doing?
I'm good, and I am. Like I said about Anne's presentation, I get a bit of a bugbear about us pages because it's such a missed opportunity. Decent live chat is a huge missed opportunity too. So I think I should hand over to you and let you tell us more about it. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, that sounds great. Can everyone see my screen?
It's all up there and ready to go. And you're now beautifully full screen as well. So I'm going to disappear and leave you to it. It's all yours, Julia.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much for the introduction, Chloe, and super excited to be here today with all of you and just tell you a little bit more about Gorgias, but really want to take this time also to go through some of the e-commerce trends that we're seeing and how that relates to customer experience. So hopefully we can drive some insights there. Hey, Paul, nice to see you here. Cool. So yeah, just a little bit of background on myself. My name is Julia. I'm the partner manager for the West Coast here at Gorgias. I started in December, so I've been here for a couple months now. And prior to Gorgias, I was at Yotpo, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. They specialize in customer reviews for e-commerce. And then I was at BounceX, which is primarily doing email marketing, identification, and cart abandonment. So I've spent quite a bit of time working with different e-commerce brands, whether that's on the client partnership side of things or within the marketing side. So definitely excited to continue my D2C and e-commerce journey at Gorgias. Awesome. So in terms of, what we've seen with our merchants to date, so I'll just say also with Gorgias, so I came on in December and, when we started in 2019, 2020, we were around 1,700 customers on Shopify, Magento, and BigCommerce. And we since have increased to over 5,000. So I'm sure as many of you have seen, there's definitely been a really big boom and uptick in e-commerce. What was going to happen within e-commerce 5 years ago has kind of transpired this past year. And so we were able to get a lot of different data from our merchants to understand what's going on, where are they in terms of, when thinking about the customer experience and some of the things that were really important to them. So first and foremost, just starting with fast and high quality support. I mean, if you think about the nature of Amazon and where it's at today, people are assuming they're going to get their orders within 2 days. They're going to get responses right away. If they need to change or cancel an order, being able to do that really quickly and efficiently. Another really important part is reducing cost. So, thinking through proactively, if you're seeing a high volume of returns, what's the reasoning behind that? Should there be more information about the product pre-purchase, something happening where an item's getting damaged, just better understanding how can you reduce costs, especially as it comes to returns or some of those shipping inquiries. And then the last thing we've really seen from our merchants is when thinking about the customer experience, not just, how can we put out fires and think through, responding to questions like order status or if things are broken, but also thinking about how do we proactively increase sales on our site and through the customer support and experience itself. So being really proactive there and almost thinking about, given that a lot of us are no longer shopping in person, if you're going to be shopping online, how do you take a customer support agent as more of a virtual retail associate for your brand? Yeah, so as I had mentioned, I would say like the data that we've seen has been really telling to understand customer support as it is today. And, a main objective we've seen is that there's really about 10 common customer support questions that make up about 60% of total ticket volume. So when you're thinking about all the tickets that are coming in, we've seen about over 33% are just around order status. Where is my order? I bought this a little bit ago. Is there any update there? And so what we've been able to do is really think through from the standpoint of these questions, like how do we make things more efficient for customer support? And whether it's Gorgias or using a different help desk, I think that's really important when you're thinking through customer experience, is given that these are, some of the most common topics that are coming up, like how can you create automations and how can you make it easier for people to respond quickly and efficiently? And then taking it a step further, like given these trends, maybe there's, a lot about a product suggestion or feedback. Like what can you do as a brand to proactively then move forward with your products or looping in your customers so they feel like their voices are being heard? Awesome. So yeah, one of the really important things that we've seen, and I talk to a lot of clients and they have found to be really helpful, is actually creating templated responses for some of those really common questions. So something like, where is my order? Being able to actually have a templated response that can plug and play with data. I mean, with Gorgias, we do have the opportunity to use the Shopify data, which is super helpful, and being able to efficiently put that in. But, a lot of the merchants, when I speak to them at the beginning, they are using like Excel spreadsheets to copy and paste really common questions. And that's definitely one way to go about it. And as you're building your team, but as you continue to grow and evolve and thinking through like, how can you be most efficient? We've definitely seen this to be important. So coming up with actually templated responses, especially for those common questions that you're seeing. And then I think another thing we've also noticed is taking it a step further is, if there's a question like, where is my order coming in time after time, thinking through setting up rules to just automate those things. So in this scenario, if you're creating a ticket and it contains shipping or status less than 15 days ago and the shipment's actually in transit, then replying to the ticket and closing it out. So in this scenario, like whoever's handling customer support wouldn't even have to go in, find the template, plug and play it in, but it would just automatically respond to the customer, embedding some of these different variables like first name or number of last order. So, thinking through with these scenarios, like everyone only has a finite number of resources and time. And so when we're thinking through how to respond efficiently, coming up with automations is a great way to take away some of those time-intensive activities and then devote it to other channels and opportunities to engage with your customers. Something else that we have been looking at is, also from the chat perspective, which Chloe had mentioned. So, I would say over 60% of support tickets usually involve something around where is my order shipping and status. And so I think another really important part is chat and self-serve. So, enabling your customers to have the chance to just quickly get an answer to maybe where is their order. We've seen that through enabling something like this, you can help decrease tickets by around 30%. So another way to just, again, help decrease some of the volume of tickets so that your agents or whoever's handling customer support can be more thoughtful with their time and thinking through the strategies there. And, I think another thing is, and I've seen this too from Yapo and BounceX, but when you're thinking through the customer experience, it's also being able to identify and understand the trends. So, if that's like the conversion and where things are falling off, or if it's more on the product side and understanding what people are liking, or if a product's being consistently returned, like what's going on behind the scenes. Does it have to do with an item being defective or damaged? Maybe for a company, like the sizing is a lot smaller than the industry average. And so just getting a little bit more granular and understanding some of those like missing puzzle pieces is definitely going to be effective. And so, yeah, that's something that when I talk to merchants, that they found to be super helpful in a help desk, right? Is being able to get tags to better understand like what's happening with the orders, where are tickets coming from, how often are they urgent, etc. So it's being able to better understand like what's going on with the brand, how are things going, where's there room for improvement, but also then being able to understand too, just like what's the customer's experience with your brand to date? Like, are you getting generally positive inquiries? Are there a lot of issues going on? Maybe it has to do with the fulfillment center. So again, just really being able to get a bigger picture of what's going on. And that can be super effective by using tags to see what those trends are for your brand. And, you know, it does definitely vary per team. Some teams are a little bit more lean and it's like 1 or 2 people who are handling customer support. Others we're seeing, you know, larger teams. But being able to also create rules where you're assigning specific tickets to teams has been super beneficial. So especially again, like if there's someone who's more focused on the social side of thing and is engaging with those customers on Instagram and Facebook, having the opportunity to assign it to that team versus maybe those like urgent tickets, something that has to do with like a VIP status, those would go to the support team. And we'll get into some of the ways too that maybe your sales team would also be using a help desk, but you know, being able to quickly assign it to the relevant team is also a great way to just divvy out the performance and making sure that everyone is set up correctly. Awesome. So yeah, I think another thing we can definitely go through a little bit here is thinking about how do you drive sales with your support team. Like full transparency, before I started at Gorgias, I definitely thought of customer support more from the lens of, yeah, putting out those fires and thinking about like, how are you just going to help with where is my order or those really basic questions. I think if you're thinking about like a more sophisticated approach for customer experience and utilizing a help desk, taking that step further and thinking about, okay, well, how do we also drive sales through this channel? Because again, like you're going to see high engagement from your customers through some of these tickets or support channels. So being able to leverage that and take it a step further is definitely something that I think, you know, is going to move the needle. So another thing that I think all of us are aware of, and I definitely saw through my time at BounceX, was the shift from email marketing over to SMS. I mean, definitely the past year has been a super, super great channel for conversions. And, you know, we've seen that over 28% is conversion rate for pre-sale chats when SMS is replied for in less than 10 minutes. So definitely, again, like the most important thing is going to be having that really quick response time. But I mean, everyone's on their phones these days. And, you know, like I think about the number of emails I get on my email, and usually I just delete all of them. But when I get an SMS, it's super personalized. It's about a product, my order, or a flash sale that like I got VIP status for. So it's definitely something that people are responding quickly and engaging with. And another just great way to think about, like from a support perspective, taking SMS and adding that to your strategy as well. And yeah, so this was from a couple years ago. One of our merchants, we were going through some of the data, and this was around the Black Friday, Cyber Monday time. But you know, looking through the impact on sales here. So for the pre-sale tickets, you can see that over 230 of them converted, 46% conversion rate, which is really great. and here's some of the total sales from support. So again, just a reminder of how important SMS and some of these response times can be on sales. I think the really important thing to note here too would be the first response time, 2 minutes, and resolution time, 21 minutes. This is obviously extremely fast. I know for this merchant in particular, like they had a really targeted strategy given that it was a holiday. They knew that they were going to have a ton of tickets, orders, support, et cetera, coming in. So really being strategic when thinking through your, customer experience objectives during these times, and being, really as fast as you can with response is going to have just a direct impact on your conversion rate and your sales as well. And I think, another thing we're seeing too, and this comes back to some of my experience working at a company like Yotpo or BounceX, is that you need to be engaging with all of these different channels. Like, having a D2C brand, you're maybe starting on Shopify, Magento, or BigCommerce, and then you're introduced to about 20 to, I want to say, almost 50 like e-commerce apps that you can use to better enable your customer experience. And so being able to combine all of those channels is going to be important for your website, but also for customer experience and when you're thinking about customer support as well too. Yeah, so another really important aspect, again, kind of started to talk about, but thinking through not just how do we answer customer support quickly and efficiently, but how do we think through upsells as well. So, using, for instance, like an integration like Smile here, and, this person, if they're asking again about their new order, also reminding them that they have these 230 points available in their account. So being able to enable them to use their reward points and help them not only, get the answer they need quickly, but reminding them of those rewards and hopefully getting them to purchase again. So I think, again, just a great example of beyond just answering a customer support question, being able to lead them in the direction of another conversion. And that's a great way to help with loyalty, right? Because, it's one thing to acquire a new customer. It's another thing to keep them on as a loyal customer. But personally, I know, like, if I have questions and get responses quickly, and I get a reminder that like I could get a discount or it's going to go through my rewards, like you think about Sephora, great example there, that definitely keeps me purchasing time after time. So a great way to take advantage of that on a help desk or just with customer support in general. And yeah, so chat campaigns went over self-serve a little bit, but another aspect is going to be, just again, that virtual retails associate on site. So we've seen merchants use chat for a few different ways, whether that's thinking through an objection, like if it's going to be around, my sister had purchased a Christmas tree using a Gorgias chat campaign. This was before I actually started, but I thought it was really funny to see that. But they said, like, we know purchasing a Christmas tree online is like a new topic. If you have any questions for our support team, let us know about how it would fit in your home and sizing, because it's true. Most people would buy a Christmas tree in person, but with the pandemic, things shifted online. So that was like an objective busting statement, or, it could highlight reviews, something maybe specific to the product. Again, if your sizing, is smaller than industry average, like letting your customers know as they get to that product page, hey, our sizing runs a bit small. We recommend usually sizing up. That's another way, like not only to engage with the customer who's on the product page, but hopefully to decrease some of that ticket volume. Because again, if customers have that information ahead of time that the sizing's a bit small, then they know that prior to making the purchase versus, afterward and handling a return there. Messenger is another way. So again, if someone is going to be commenting on, Facebook ads, or, they are engaging with you on Facebook Messenger, actually being able to incentivize them through a promo code to check out. You can see in this scenario here, it's actually driving them back to the site. So again, just another way to engage on those different channels, which is going to be really important, since the shopper is not simply just on your website, but they're going to be on all of these different channels and social as well. And yeah, so again, like beyond just upselling your customers, sometimes you're going to see on social, people are asking about returns. And so when you get those types of scenarios, we've definitely seen an uptick in conversions by offering a promo code as well. So, answering their question, but also enabling them to purchase with you again, and showing just that you're a valuable customer to them. I think that's also really important, that you matter and they care about you as a customer. Another important thing too would be thinking through like how you're prioritizing comments and tickets. Like, as I've kind of mentioned, there's so many different channels that you're going to be looking at, whether that's email, chat, SMS, Facebook, Instagram, and especially with some of those social ones, like those are actually opportunities, again, to either answer your customers or to help lead them into a purchase. So staying on top of those tickets and being able to respond super quickly, a social lead, providing that promo code, enabling them to check out with a negative comment, like obviously these are going to hurt your ROAS. So being able to respond to those quickly and efficiently. And with social questions, yeah, maybe that's around the sizing, or, hey, like, where can I find this? So being able to also respond quickly to those in order to really help drive sales. So beyond just helping with some of the customer support inquiries as well. And yeah, we kind of already talked about SMS, but again, we've just really seen this to be a super strong channel. I would say anyone who's looking for SMS, definitely check out Postscript or Attentive, like definitely great partners of ours. And, it's just another way to engage with your customers. Again, like if it's a new line of products, sale, or if they have a question about their order, being able to respond quickly and incentivize them. So just utilizing these different channels and being able to answer them within like one collective platform, I think can be a big like time saver, but also allow one to be a lot more strategic and thoughtful with their approach. Yeah, so another example that would be more around the upsell. So again, like in this scenario, someone has like a customer support ticket that they want a replacement with their ring, showing them that they also could actually upgrade. And so, here's the broken one, I'd like to upgrade as well. So being able to take advantage of some of those templated responses when answering questions, but again, like being able to provide value to them and help with some of those upsell opportunities is going to be how I think some of you guys can take it to the next level and just be thoughtful beyond just, again, like answering the question, putting out the fires, but helping with some of those sales processes as well. And yeah, I mean, just to sum up some of the important metrics that I've definitely seen merchants looking at. So, conversion percent for chat, understanding like what is the conversion rate? Does it vary based on the agent? What are some of the other things to look at? I mean, again, like the first response time, I think is going to be one of the most important ones as you're thinking through customer support. But yeah, also understanding like from the discounts used on social, like did those actually have an impact? If so, what was the impact? We've definitely seen like an uptick in sales using some of those promo codes, but I think it can be helpful, again, like looking through the data to understand how are these strategies doing and are they successful? And yeah, like even, you know, some support teams, they'll do little like campaigns or competitions for whoever gets the highest conversion rate per agent, et cetera. So like you can also do little incentives with your team, I think, to help them think not just about like answering support tickets, but thinking about the conversion rate or sales that they're also helping out with. So just definitely a few different metrics I would be mindful of as a merchant or someone who's thinking through customer support. And yeah, I mean, just a little bit more about Gorgias. So again, like any of these things I think could be helpful for anyone who's just looking through a help desk, but a little bit more about us. So as I'd mentioned, we have really scaled a lot over the past couple of years. In December, we raised our Series B. So we definitely have been focusing on some exciting product innovations. We went again from a little over 1,700 to over 5,000 brands in the past year. And we're exclusively on Shopify, Magento, and BigCommerce. So we really specialize and are the preferred partner for e-commerce brands when it comes to a help desk. And really the ability to just combine all of your customer support in one place. So being able to log in and have email, chat, SMS, Messenger, all within there, I think will be super helpful. Fully integrating with Shopify. So being able to take actions like editing orders, canceling refunds directly in the platform. And being able to take AI to respond to some of those common questions. So some of the benefits that, you know, I've seen for merchants and hopefully could help some of you guys if you're interested in learning more. And for anyone who's interested, definitely I'll put my email after this. It's in the next slide, but if you are interested in learning more, definitely email me and we can give you your second month free. So a little discount there as well. But yeah, if any of the things that I touched upon in this presentation are important to you, we can definitely help you out with those. Cool. Well, yeah, here's my email. So I can definitely put it in the comments as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm sure you've had a couple different presentations today, but hopefully this provided some good insight for just customer support, as well as like thinking through the customer experience and some of the different things you can be thinking about to help just elevate your brand and gain more customers as well.
Julia, that was a brilliant presentation, and I think like you said a couple of times in there, there's so much power from integrating it all into the one platform. It amazes me that there are still retailers out there who are managing Facebook over there and email over there and live chat over there, and it's like, how are you possibly managing to do it? Because the customer isn't thinking, today I'm on email. The customer's thinking, today I want help. Today I've got questions. It blows my mind sometimes because it's just so inefficient, isn't it?
Totally. Yeah. I feel like so many merchants, when I talk to them and they're using all of these different ones or haven't used a help desk and are just, again, using like the Excel sheets and copy and pasting, it's definitely a game changer to see how it can all come together.
Indeed, and the other particular thing I liked about what you're saying was the point which I think a lot of people miss, is that your support series, your customer service team, they're not just there to deal with problems. They have a huge role in generating income as well, and I think that's a really important point that people sometimes miss too. So great to see some great tips and advice on that too.
Definitely, yeah. I think there's so many opportunities to engage with your existing customers, especially if they're coming in with a question for you, or if it's like a pre-sale question as well. But those are people who either have purchased and would likely purchase again, or they're on the cusp of purchasing. So being able to take advantage of that is definitely really important. So glad to hear that's a trend you're excited about and see the value of as well.
Oh, very, very much so. But look, we're going to have to say goodbye to you, you now. But we've got the link scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. And guys, you've got a couple of seconds to grab Julia's email address to get that second month free if you want to do that before we move on to our next speaker. So, Julia, thank you very much for being here. It's been excellent learning from you.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, and everyone have a great rest of your day.
Okay, everybody. It went a bit crazy after my last Who's Out There on the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is clearly where it is. If you're over on Facebook, we would love to hear from you guys too. So do comment, add questions, because if we've got time, we will put those questions to the speakers as we go through the rest of today's sessions. We have just covered Help Desk with our marvellous sponsor, Gorgias. Now we're going to be moving on to hear from another of our marvellous sponsors. And if it wasn't for the sponsors, quite frankly, Derek and his team would not be putting together this event for all of you and putting it out for you. So, you know, they bring great content, but they also provide, quite frankly, the sponsorship money, which enables this entire event to happen. So, so we really do love hearing from them. Thank you to, I did say I was going to try and shout out some of those who have been commenting. So very quickly, we've got Quick Camo who says this has been awesome. We've had Paul who was talking earlier. Sorry, Quick Camo, there you are. Monique's here from Italy. We've got Christy from Hawaii. We've got Kitovit from Thailand. I think that's multiple different continents, that's the word, covered now. So we really are going global. So do keep those comments coming in and do ask questions if you've got them. And we're putting out lots of notes over there, so you can, you know, links of how to get to the show notes and so forth. But now it's time we find out ourselves a little bit about our next speaker.